All right, Tulsi-crats, Bernie-crats, free radicals like myself. I am Dave, and this is the Radical Independent. Tulsi Gabbard says, I'll never apologize for doing the right thing. I will never apologize to smear merchants. Yes, that's a great term. These are people that make money. A merchant, right, is somebody who makes money. And that's what the media does. They smear and then they make money for doing everything I can to prevent more of my brothers and sisters from being killed or wounded. I'm spending pretty much all of my channel's time. My commentary has been pretty much devoted to Tulsi Gabbard because we have a very narrow window to try to get through to get her onto the debate stage. I realize that even though I have suggested an independent media debate, which I think would draw a lot of people over to YouTube or whatever platform wants to host it. You know, folks, don't take this the wrong way, but if InfoWars wanted to host an indie candidate debate, I would say do it. Do it. Here's why. Because you would expose this message, which is universal to the left, the right, and what I would call classical liberals and, fair-minded libertarians. If you could get it on a platform that could reach millions of people. Obviously, you want to go on YouTube, I guess. I mean, who knows? But I would prefer she get into the debate because, again, it's her up on stage with these establishment candidates. I'd love to see her take on Elizabeth Warren because I think that might be her next target. And I think it should be because Elizabeth Warren, you cannot turn on a mainstream news program right now and not hear about how Elizabeth Warren is the big rising star. I mean, her message is catching on with so many people. And it's like fake momentum. I don't hear it. I don't see it. I watched a video, and it was by a conservative person. Shows you that I think it was called Liberty Hound or something like that. But they were interviewing Elizabeth Warren supporters, and they were asking Warren supporters what her accomplishments were as a senator. Fair question. What bills has she sponsored? They couldn't name one. Where I can just shoot off a couple, with Tulsi Gabbard off the top of my head, the Off Fossil Fuels Act would be one, and her paper ballot initiative would be two. I mean, those are two that I can think of, and there are a lot more, but she is obviously working to try to correct a system that is broken. And you can go on and on with Tulsi. I mean, she's got a legislative record. Her votes are, for instance, 100% LGBT, even though she gets smeared constantly as being against LGBT people for some views she apparently held long ago. I will do whatever it takes to prevent or end a regime change war. Let's watch this video. It's powerful. It should get you to vote for Tulsi Gabbard. When you watch this video, you should say, yeah, Dave's right. I should vote for Tulsi.
The cost of war is real. And for those of us who've served, those of us who have lost friends, brothers and sisters in combat, those of us who have lost friends of ours who survived combat and lost the battle here at home, we understand the cost of war in a deeply personal way.
Do you think right there, when she slowed down, and it appeared that she might have been tearing up a little bit, do you think that was fake? Do you think she's fake? Do you think Tulsi Gabbard is a fake person? That she's not a sincere person? The thing that Joe Rogan noted on his show when he was interviewing Tulsi Gabbard was that she was very authentic. In fact, at one point, I think Joe asked her, somebody like yourself being this down to earth and authentic, do you worry about that in this campaign? That you're too vulnerable? That you're too out there for people to kind of pick apart? I would love to have a human being as president. Right now we've got this orange man machine thing that's president. Before that, we had Obama, and Obama was a great talker, but he didn't do anything. Before that, we had George W. Bush, who couldn't talk his way out of a paper bag and got us into one of the worst wars or conflicts, whatever you want to call it, in U.S. history, and we still haven't gotten out. That's the danger of getting involved where you shouldn't be involved. But to my initial question, do you think Tulsi Gabbard is fake? If anyone comes at you with talking points that say she's a stooge, she's a Russian apologist or an Assad apologist, whatever, she's working for Vladimir Putin, KKK is helping her campaign, any of these ridiculous things, show them a video like this. All right, let's roll on here.
This is why I'll never apologize to anyone who tries to smear me or criticize me for doing everything I possibly can to prevent more of our brothers and sisters from being sent into combat to their death, fighting these wasteful regime change wars that make our country less safe, that take the lives of our sons and daughters, that make the lives of the people in these countries worse off, and take dollars out of our community, out of our schools, out of our healthcare system. So if it means meeting with a brutal dictator or 100 dictators, I will do whatever it takes to end these wasteful wars.
Tulsi Gabbard, way out of the mainstream with that comment. Bill Kristol's head it's exploding. It's this brain matter going everywhere. Folks, I keep saying it, and I don't know if people are hearing it. I appreciate all the new subscribers, by the way, to the channel. The channel is growing leaps and bounds, and I continue to cover Tulsi primarily, in other words, more than anything else, and pretty much over and over again, because we have this opportunity. Forget about the intersectionality. First Hindu, first woman, technically first woman of color, even though everyone talks about Kamala Harris as the only woman of color in the race. They discount Tulsi. I don't know if it's not enough melanin. I don't know. And this is when you get to a point where you say, identity politics again? Really? Really? Can't we just have a great candidate who happens to fill all these other shoes? Apparently you can't do it with Tulsi Gabbard. You can do it with everybody else. Remember? Mayor Pete, he's gay. We need a gay president. You know what we need? We need a good president. We need a president that will bring honor and decency and integrity and sincerity back to the White House. Joe Rogan, he recognized that in an instant. I don't think he knew that much about Tulsi Gabbard. And yet he did the interview, and it was like, wow, you're real easy to talk to. You're down to earth. Everybody I know who's gone on the campaign trail and had the opportunity to meet Tulsi Gabbard has told me, Dave, you've got to meet her in person. You got to meet her. She's just as she is. She's genuine. She's sincere. And I want my president to be a likable person. And Tulsi Gabbard is a likable person. However, if I'm going to be consistent and preach what I've been preaching on this channel, I want my president to have policies and issues that are going to help the country and move it forward. And you've only got two. You got Tulsi Gabbard and you got Bernie Sanders. And I put them in that order. No apologies here. I'm not saying it's Tulsi or bust, but man, it's close. I'm just a little unsure if Bernie is going to fight. That's what I'm worried about. I'm just a little... Look, if you had a one-on-one Bernie versus Trump debate, it'd be interesting. But if you had a one-on-one Tulsi Gabbard versus Donald Trump debate, as soon as he starts with his routine, his name calling, his nicknaming, this woman, it wouldn't work on her. It just wouldn't work. I know it. I know it. I believe it with every fiber of my being. This woman is capable of taking on anybody. The fossil fuel industry. You don't think she'll take the fossil fuel industry on? That's funny. Because there are some big fish to fry out there, and Tulsi Gabbard is got the frying pan, the oil, and the gas burner ready to go. Ready to go on day one. You don't think Tulsi Gabbard will take on these trigger-happy generals who want to roll all over the world, run all over the world, and find new conflicts? Pink slips would be given to so many people. It would be one of the great moments in American history to see so many people packing their stuff and leaving. And hopefully the government at that point would start its reform, because this is going to take generations to fix. And if we don't get somebody like a Tulsi Gabbard to really spearhead the effort and go forward and be sincere and also be likable and bring different factions together. I know that there are tribalist progressives and there are conservative free market types, whatever that is, that can't understand what's at stake. They just don't. Well, Tulsi is for Medicare for all. That's socialism. Oh, yeah? Socialism? And see, again, this goes to my argument about the people who talk about democratic socialism. They don't even know what socialism really is. And they chose the wrong terminology. And they need to rebrand. And they need to do it so the guy driving the truck or the lawn crew that shows up at somebody's house in the afternoon and it's 100 degrees out and they've got 4 guys and they're mowing the lawn, that the candidate who's running for president will actually address their concerns. The cost of housing, the cost of medicine, the cost of food. This is that candidate, Tulsi Gabbard. We're spending trillions of dollars on endless wars. That money could be brought home for better education. I've got an issue locally. I wasn't going to even talk about this, but I'll throw it in. We've got dark bus stops where I live, where the kids have to walk sometimes a mile, sometimes most of it in the dark. And then when they get to the bus stop, there isn't really any room for them. The grass grows really tall. And of course, you don't want to be walking around in tall grass in the dark, waiting for your bus. Well, apparently where I live, we don't have enough money to light up the streets and to make it adequate and safe for these kids. So yours truly actually went out and bought a bench for these kids last week for my son and other kids. Cost $100 to do it. Some of that money, by the way, came from you guys via Patreon and through one-time donations, which came through PayPal. And I'll put the address up for PayPal. The reason I bring that in is because we've got priorities. People have things that they care about where they live. And these are real issues for families. And a lot of progressives and conservatives, they're so busy being tribal. They're so busy. I'm so tired of progressive commentators. All they do, and conservatives. Like, conservatives go on the air from sun up to sunrise bashing on Bernie Sanders or bashing on so-called socialism when they don't even know what it is. They're not even, the correct terminology would be free market with some controls. Even Bernie Sanders has said that. Put a few controls here and there, the banks and so forth, we get the economy rolling, not just for the upper echelon 1%ers, but for the rest of us down below. Like the people who have to send their kid to a bus stop that doesn't have a light, nowhere for them to sit. They have to stand in the dark as cars race down this road. Later on today, I'm probably going to be on the news, so that's why I'm mentioning this. I'm causing so much trouble. This channel is causing trouble. In any event, folks, Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, and that's it. There's really nobody else out there talking real issues for middle and working class and lower class and poor and the inner cities. Where's Mayor Pete on all these issues? Mayor Pete supposedly runs a city. He runs it into the ground, but he's supposedly the mayor of a city. You think he'd be, really totally down with this struggle, but he's not. He's not. And by the way, he's former Intel, CIA, and all that stuff, so he loves this military stuff. He thinks America thrives when we're going around the world. He's a John Bolton waiting to happen. Tulsi Gabbard is, I don't want to say once in a lifetime, but she's just rare. This is a rare opportunity that we have, and there are a lot of people that just don't see it, and it's frustrating. So, I wanted to show this video. The smearing is going to continue. We need her into this third debate, but we also have to prepare that she might not be in it, and that we need to go another route, because she is ready. She isn't stopping. She will go directly to the people, and I say we use social media to do that, and most notably, high-profile channels like Jimmy Dore and Kyle Kalinske, and anybody who has a huge platform. I would say if you could stream on all those platforms, you could probably put a serious dent into NBC or CNN or wherever that debate's going to be. So, just my 2 cents worth. Again, for those of you who want to help the channel, I will put my email in. You can click on the link to Patreon if you want to give monthly. You can do as little as $1 a month, $5, whatever you can afford. Quite honestly, I like the PayPal donations, the one-timers, because they tend to be, quicker to my account and so forth, and I can just do more things with it. So, either way, though, I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the new subscribers and the support and all the kind words that typically wind up in my inbox and my email, and people sending me videos and just information about Tulsi and this media industrial complex, which is controlling us. You just have to realize that all this information, it's designed to just control, and in many cases it works. All right, done with this video. Be back soon. I will see you then. Aloha until then.